So I said, wow, I said, this is something. So what we were positive.
Progress. You have receipts. We can see more chairs. Can y'all hear?
No.
Louder? Better? Okay. Anybody else think there's a chair up here? Come on side. Well, this is a great turnout. We have some chairs in the back, yes? We have the agenda projected on the side. We are recording this, and ideally we'll have it posted either on the tabby or website, or we'll get it available to those who can be here tonight. Okay, we have a full agenda, so I'm going to just get rolling here. Well, as I said, welcome everybody. It's been a tough year for meetings, and hopefully it'll get easier and easier in the next 3 or 4 or 5 months. I'd like to start out introducing the board to everybody here. I am Claire Bergman, the president of the Number 6 Association. This is my first year as president, and I'll be here for next year. And we'll just start at this end. Tony, if you'll introduce yourself and your role on the board.
I'm Tony Chaplinsky, infrastructure director. That's problem, you know that. If you pass that, you know.
I'm Leslie Reeder,
and I'm Denise Price, I'm membership director. I'm Pilar Hayes, in charge of communications, the academy, and the website. Hi, everybody. Ann Bauer, I am the vice president.
Ernie Farrell, member at large.
Okay. Has anybody moved since our last meeting in May? Do we have any new neighbors in the audience? If we do, raise your hand and put name and where to be from. Yes?
Carl Ford. I've actually had our house 25 years, but we just moved back.
Like that.
Living in the wonderful city of Asheville.
Welcome home. Anybody else? I just want to give a report for Bob Muster, who is our chairman of the committee for Adopt a Highway. They collected a lot of trash on that section of highway that we cover on 15501. So I want to say thank you to Bob. He and his team, they show up early in the morning and take the trash and keep our area nice and tidy. So if you see him, thank him. If you can volunteer, I think he does it once every 2 months. It's really a very helpful thing that our community does. I'm probably going to talk a little fast because I want to get to our guest speaker. So I'll slow down this meeting. The board has the minutes from our last meeting, and I'd like somebody to make a motion to approve the minutes from our last meeting. Second. All in favor of approving the minutes? Right. Minutes are approved. Okay, this next will be hard. For all of you who know John Flynn, he passed away on Saturday. Yes, he had broken his leg, and things just kind of took a turn. I've known John for a few years, and his wit, his charm, his caringness were just amazing. I've asked for a few words, and his longtime friend Shar Ross, who wasn't able to join us tonight, and a few words. And I'd like to read them. After John's wife passed away, he got his dog, Maggie May, and Shar said she saved his life. Now, Maggie May is going to be taken care of, and so we know she'll be all right. Now, John's relationship to our community goes back quite a few years. He was president in 2009, 2013, 2014. In 2009, he was responsible for planning the renovation of the south entrance. Shar followed him as president and was responsible for carrying out overseeing the renovation. He continued his support and involvement in our community in the years following by his presidencies by being on the President's Advisory Committee, where he headed nominating committees. That's how I got nominated. And our socials at Pine Crest dinners. His advice and experience were invaluable to those who followed. And I do know the sons are in the area right now, but just keep his family in your thoughts and prayers. And thank you, John, for all you did for our community. Okay, let's go on to our treasurer's report.
Okay, as of the end of August, we had $69,887.16 between the checking and the money market accounts. With that being said, I will be writing out $11,985 to return to the Holly Home. So after those checks are written, we'll have $57,902.16. Other than that, all bills are paid. Questions?
Membership.
So we're almost to our, well, actually a little bit over our level of membership from this time last year. And last year, I think, was an all-time high for us. We have 706 members paid to date. And we have 94 new members that joined us this year. So we're pretty excited about that. We have been delivering welcome bags to each and every new resident into the community. And when I say we, it's not me. Kathy, where's Kathy? There's Kathy back there. She's been doing a yeoman's job orchestrating a very wonderful team of volunteers to take welcome bags to people. And it's nice actually to be able to physically talk to people this year. Last year, obviously, we just had to dump the welcome bags on the porches. So welcome to our new member. I guess you're the only one here that's the new member, but we're very excited. And each new member that has joined us, I have sent a personal email to welcoming them to the community, showing them how to get onto the members only website and other information on how to get their email newsletter. And so you'll get that, Mr. Quake, when as soon as I get home, I'll send you that email. So we do publish, part of my committee also publishes the directories, and most recently we published the online directory, which is available on the members only website. So if you aren't on that website, send me an email, because it's very easy to you just go to the website and it'll tell you how to log in, and there you can get the directory of all the members in the community, those that wish to have their names published, and some have obviously opted out of that, but it's a good resource to get to know the papers. And then I also want to thank everyone who's volunteered. When we send out the invoices every year, we always ask for people that are interested in volunteering for the different functions, which again, now, I was going to say now that COVID's over, but it's not over. But now that we're kind of coming out of our home, homes, we'll be engaging in more activities. I also want to give a shout out, I don't know if Linda's here, Linda Goodwin here. Linda works as a database manager of the membership committee, and she is responsible for basically keeping track of all the membership data and statistics. And she does a fabulous job of that, and it's a big job, especially when the season is for all the new members to join. So I have a wonderful group of folks working for me, and I'm very happy to have them working with the community. And I think that's all I have. So any questions about membership, about what's going on? You get your e-caddy newsletter? You all right? Okay, good, okay. So give me a call if you have any questions or if you just want to know what's going on. I do answer the emails, not always very timely, I must admit, that come to the website. And I don't always know the answer, but I try to respond, and then if I need to pass the emails along, then I do pass them to the board members that might be able to respond to them. But so if you haven't gotten a response, you could bug me, because it could be that I just haven't been in there to check. But we appreciate all your comments, and we definitely appreciate your membership. Thank you very much. Tony?
Let's talk about the problems that we have at the North Veterans. You have flags and flags and flags, red all over the place. What's happening there? They're going to be building two houses simultaneously. The first house is going to be the second, that's called the second one in. And then because they can't get into the second one from the road the way it is right now. That one first, then this one. And the first thing we heard about it, I think it's okay, why our wall is not. So, Eric sent me this information that we got a easement where that wall is set. Unfortunately, that was given to us in 1999, and it could for as long as we want, it perpetually as long as we can maintain. So hence that easement was granted. We have. Okay, since that easement was granted, we have expanded our lawn about 25 feet to the right, about 25 feet behind. That is not our easement land. Our easement land right now is where the wall is standing. There's one bush behind it that's still on our easement. The flag is not on the easement. And one of the polys is not on the easement. So I had it officially surveyed today. They are officially forced it. That is our easement that was granted. So with the wall, we're okay. We might have to move the flag into the center of the side. And with the building, we have irrigation lines that are running from the far end all the way to the front. They're going to be cutting sewage, they're going to be cutting electric lines, they're going to be cutting through our irrigation. Which means we're going to either repair it or most likely just replace it on that one side. And what they're doing is two houses. The builder is Ascot Corporation. And I had a survey today by Brian McBride, and the survey should be emailed or mailed to me. I don't know the cost of it. I just wanted it done. So I think we'll have to do a little more landscaping. And it was agreed upon at the last meeting that we will re-landscape at the north entrance in front of the wall. Not the island, that was done 2 years ago, but the front needs to be redone. So this is the right time to see what we own and see what the new builder wants, how we can cooperate with it. It's going to be two spec houses. So some irrigation is going to be done, but that's after everything is finished. And the porta potty that is perfectly located right now, it's going to be moved. It's going to be moved around the corner. on landscaping, I had talked to Hefner to give us some ideas as to design a new landscape for the entrances on either side. And I don't know, if you know, the lady by the name of Ying Ho, I don't know, Pauline is there? Pauline? Well, she knows Pauline, so the two of them can get together. I made the initial contact. Other than that, I don't think there's, moving the flag is the biggest thing. And on another subject, I could use a little help with Christmas lights. Somebody who's just basic electricity, helping me test them before we have to put them. I'm willing. Talk to me, yes.
You know who the seller was a little lost.
No, but the people who gave us this easement were Mr. and Mrs. R. Timoto and O. Timoto. So that was given to us in 1999. I didn't. I don't even know who owns them. Right? I don't know who owns them.
The lot was sold to someone within the last 6 years. And then they bought the lot on that.
There was a name on the application by the name of Colin
That's Ascot.
Webster.
Colin Webster is Ascot. He's the builder.
Okay. That's the only name. Thank you. If you have any questions, I'll try to answer.
Thanks, Tony. About communication, I don't really have very much to say, except thank you so much to all the people who sent fabulous photos of number 6 to put up on our website. They are all the ones that were submitted are now up there adorning our website, so they'll keep it updated, keep it looking great. So still open if you want, if you have a great photo, it doesn't have to be a landscape, it could be a photo of a beautiful flower setting or something like that. Send it to me and we'll see if we can move the website with credit, photo credit. Thanks. Note here is our vice president who was well, she was on the budget at the last meeting. I think she's still okay now. This is Ann Power, and Ann, why don't you do a little quick intro? How long have you been here?
Hi, everybody again. Again, my name is Ann Bauer, and I have lived in number 6 for about 2.5 years now. And I'm Claire, earlier when she was running for mayor. And volunteered when I saw that they needed help, and so I'm glad to be able to work with Claire. Get to know some of my neighbors that I don't know because I'm still a working person. So I'm retired again.
Officer reports. Now committee reports. I'm actually going to give a social committee report. As you all know, we had planned for the Holly Ball this December, and then the variant decided to show up. We had made a deposit over at the club, and we had menus planned, table settings. Jen mentioned she was part of that committee. And we were doing it with newcomers. And newcomers are a very social group, and they were putting in place some restrictions, masks, proof of vaccination, and things like that. And our board, in our last meeting, had to address this, and we felt the best thing for safety for our organization and our neighbors was to not go forward with the Holly Ball this year. However, we are reserving space at the resort, and we're hoping maybe early next year in the spring, we'll do some kind of spring celebration. We just felt It was too risky, and it was supposed to be a joyous, fun, get dressed up and have a good time evening. And those restrictions just felt it was going to take away from the intention of what the Holly Home is all about. We are going to be giving people back either a refund or refund all on their tickets. And so that'll be taken care of in the next couple of weeks or so. Anything else, Jen? Okay. Just another social topic. We had planned to have a family get together, family night with Tiger's Pizza, and we just didn't have enough folks to justify them opening it that night. They were going to open just for us. So hopefully, once again, once people are a little more comfortable going out and about, we'll have another social schedule. Where's our sign now? Okay. We have do you have anything to add? How are sales going?
If anybody has a flag and tape tonight, I'll have it ready for them as they want to do it.
Made to order.
Thank you. Okay, and Tony just gave us a briefing on the landscaping that we're going to get a couple of proposals. Interestingly, well, not so interestingly enough, I'm sure you're all experiencing this. The landscape folks that we use are having trouble getting supplies, getting people to work. So it's in that industry too. So just about everywhere you turn, there are delays. But we are working towards getting some landscape proposals, and we'll be presenting those. Just before we get into our guest speakers, I did want to mention that our next meeting is December the 6th, and we will be presenting a proposed slate for 2022. So hopefully you all will be here as well as other members. With that said, I'd like to introduce our first guest speaker tonight, Ann Bridgers, who's the Director of Golf and PCC Club Manager. Thank you so much. I know you're super busy. Thanks for being here.
No, there we go. All right, good evening, everyone. Claire, thanks for having me tonight. I guess, Chief, you need to pull me off, just come on. But, I'd like to thank most everybody in the room. I thank our members of Pinehurst Country Club, so I'd like to thank you all for being here tonight. If you're just a homeowner number 6, you as well. The last 18 months to 24 months have been pretty challenging for the club and all of us as an individual. So, those of you that are our country club members really supported our what we were doing last year. And I couldn't thank you all enough for providing for our staff. It was a tough year, having to close the hotel for 60 days and lay off a lot of employees. It's nice to, even though we're not out of it, I guess we're coming out of it. It's everybody's feeling a little bit more comfortable, but it's been a tough little go. So, but thank you for being here. I think if you have not met me, Ben Bridgers, Director Golf Club Manager. I've been with the resort for 8 years now. Started as Director Golf in 13 and took over the club in 16. So used to work for Jay Biggs, now I work for Matt Massey. And I've been living in the village just like all of you. It's been great for me. I came right before the back-to-back opens, and it's been a whirlwind for me. So thank you for all of your support of Pinehurst Country Club and me over the years. I think from a COVID response, I hope that all of you in the room thought that we've done a really good job. I know I have. I'm really proud of our team. We've got a great team of Nancy Sadler, Doug Knopf, Jessica, Matt Barksdale, David Berlinski, Gabby White. I guess Gabby Tanner now, but I think the team does a fabulous job. They really make me look good, and they really care about all of us and all of you. So I know the big topics clubhouse at number 6. It is always a big one. Parking, we didn't know that we were going to be the first US Anchor site, and, so we're excited to have all the US Opens, 24, 29, 35, 41, 47. It's great, but it's going to change what we do. And I think all of you probably understand that and know that. We pass through the lodges, pass through, and also the USJ buildings. So parking becomes an issue. Parking has always been an issue, especially the last few years. I told Claire I didn't have a whole lot of movement on those kind of questions, but happy to be up here and answer as much as we can. We do feel like we're going to start the construction in March of 22 for the lodge, and then also the USJ building will probably start a little bit later than that, but we're working hard to try to nail down those dates. We plan to have our PCC meeting in December as well. Probably we'll do it like we did last year. Just having so many members in the room doesn't make sense, but it's going to take about 18 months to build the lodge. We need to get that done before the US Open in 2024, obviously. We will be using that facility, and then the USJ buildings it will take 14 months. So that's kind of our plan right now. I don't know how many croquet players we have in the room, but obviously that's a big deal. Croquet has been with us since the inception of the Miners Country Club, and it's something that we're always going to continue to have. We want to have it just where you all want to have it at the main club. And so, but we don't have answers yet. And I think most of you probably, everybody in the room keeps up with what's happening in the village. I know you've looked at what the facility looks like, where it's going to be, the proposed croquet site and all that stuff. So right now there's not an alternative, which would bode well for having croquet at the main club. So I think we're all happy with that. With the lodge, we're going to have to add 85 spots into where currently, our current is. And so what does that mean? That means we've got to have a parking plan in place by 2024. So we're working diligently on that. We're going to lose 6 tennis courts. So if you got tennis players in here, I'm sorry, but it's what we had to do to work with the USJ to get where we were. When we talk about parking, we've done a lot of selective choice of golf events, I guess, so to speak. So if there were driving events, we did not take them for this year as well as next year. So I think most all of you in the room probably remember the Low Swing for Charity event where they take 6 golf courses or 5 golf courses, play number 7, a lot of them in the main club. So we're not taking that piece of business. So I think that's something that we feel is necessary in what we're doing. The US Kids event, we normally have 6 US Kids event. We've got 100 kids that drive in, the parents drive in, the families. We're not taking those events. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that we're doing things that most of you may not know about to help with parking and to really be proactive, so to speak. In regards to tennis, I know we need more than 10 tennis courts at the main club, and we know we need more parking. There's a couple alternatives. If you looked at it, obviously building a parking deck is one alternative. Moving tennis to one location, which we have tapped either number 6 or the Hall of Fame location as one of those 2. I would say that you don't have any bigger backer than me about where we want to put the tennis courts. For me, my job is to make sure that we move forward in the organization. So I know we want to play tennis at the main club. I know we want to have courts at the main club, but we've got to do what's right for 25 years from now. All our tennis courts are 40 to 50 years old and they need work. And so I'm hoping by the December meeting, we'll be able to have those answers. But, as you heard some of these folks, contractors are having a hard time getting product, getting people, and getting things together. So we're seeing those things as well. I know that's a big thing. Lake Pinehurst, I think we did a fairly good job this year operating Lake Pinehurst. We did not have the jungle float come in, which has kind of created no amenities, kind of means not a lot of fun for kids. The facility looks great, looks a whole lot better than it did, but we really are excited about trying to get that in. The slide is what's been delayed there. We should be getting it in the next 30 days, but that's what they said 30 days ago. So, I mean, we're doing the best we can. We obviously, like I said, we're excited about where we are. I don't know how many of you know Kylie Kreitlow, but she's done a phenomenal job. You know, she's under 25 years old and runs that place like she's an adult. You know, I mean, she's done a great job. But unfortunately, she's leaving. She's taking another job somewhere else, and so we're kind of back to the drawing board over there. But you know, hiring. You know, we laid off 300 employees last year. We hired more employees in 2021 than we did the previous 10 years prior. So, I mean, I think it's a good thing, but it's also a bad thing because what that means is you'll have people come in and they'll work for 17 days, 21 days, and they're saying, man, this is a lot. And so we're still going through the motions of hiring, but to say we hired more people in 1 year than 10 years is just amazing. The volume, the demand, I don't want to say we weren't thinking it was going to be this high, but it's been unbelievable. I mean, 2019 was our best year ever, and we're between member and resort total rounds, we're 60,000 rounds ahead of 2019. So, you know, I love the business. I love the chaos. That's a lot for our golf pros. That's a lot for our food and beverage team. That's a lot for our people that are not used to that level of business. And if you're a new hire and you haven't worked in the organization before, it's kind of hard to understand, like, you're expecting what and this. And, you know, I think one of the things that people are not understanding, and I got the feedback about us not doing to-goes after 4 o'clock. And, you know, I told Jessica and Nancy and the team, I said, look, you got to see where everybody else in the world is. I went out to Myrtle Beach one time and they couldn't find any place to eat, couldn't find any place to go, couldn't get to go food. It was just, it's happening all over the world. We were fortunate. We started a COVID response call with Pebble, Cabot, Kiowa, St. Andrews. I mean, probably 20 of the best clubs in the world. And all of them are just as busy as we are. And all of them are having just a hard time getting staff. And so it's just something that, you know, I'm proud of what we've done as an organization. From a member perspective, the only thing you really don't have is breakfast sandwiches in the mornings. But you got them on Friday and Saturday, and all the other hours have been you know, kind of been back where we are. I know we like the $2 breakfast sandwiches. I get it. They're good. But I'm really proud of what we have been able to offer, you know, from a member perspective. The lake's been open, the pool's been open, 7's been open, 9's been open. I mean, so I just hope you all realize that we've done all we could, and really proud of that. The golf trend is up. You know, in the last 18 months, we probably signed up 285 new members. That doesn't mean we haven't lost members, but we're 100 positive this year. You know, 2 years ago, we took the price up. You know, if you're a charter member, it's attached to your home. It was the same price if you were a, you know, resident outside of Pinehurst. And so we're definitely thinking about changing that up a little bit more for next year and taking the price up even higher. And it's really just, I mean, you hate to do that because the reality versus, you know, what your expectation is, what you pay, changes a little bit, but we've got to do, it's hard because I want to cap it and I want to slow it down, but also I want to build a 10th golf course. I want to, you know, I want to do more things for the membership. And I think that while the goods, you know, it's here, let's keep it rolling. So that's what we're trying to do. You know, I think most everybody is, you know, knows, you know, our signature experience. We renovated some of the clubhouse over number 9. With the year we've been having, we've decided to take it and really do the boardroom, the lobby, the bathrooms, the Nicholas room. So if you haven't been over there, it's going to be great. I know you're number 6, so you want to hear about what's happening at number 6, but you know, number 7, we've kind of done some things over there as well. But you know, I think what that means is there's a commitment to Pinehurst Country Club. You know, Bob Devin, and I don't know where we'd be without Bob Devin and where he did his commitment to us. So you know, I think from a golf course perspective, we renovated put the new greens at number 6. It really changed that golf course. You know, Jerry's done a fabulous job over there. The golf course is a championship caliber golf course. The grounds, like you said earlier, I mean, you know, we're having trouble. We can't get people to work. And so we contract labor out some of our things. You know, we added in the beach club, we've added in lots of things at the hotel. There's just a lot. I mean, it's a big campus, you know. So Bob, Aaron, and Matt, and myself talk about it all the time. It's like, hey, what can we do to be better? And so we're still working on that. We'd like the number 6 campus to look better. You know, when we talk about off, closed it for, say, 10 days to redo the green, or not redo the greens, but punch the greens. Those are the times when we close our golf courses, those are the times we try to do cart path, work around the facility, because we just don't have that much time. The demand is so high for golf that we just got to keep, we've got to keep it open. So, but it is in fantastic shape. We think very highly of number 6, and if all goes well with the parking plan, hopefully we'll have something coming in the next few years. For the pickleball players, you see that the pickleball is where the courts were. I feel like they were safe, but we really just needed to make sure they were safe. So we're going to take half of them and put a fence in between. We're going to kind of chop up on one side, get those courts playable, and then do the same thing to the other side. I mean, the contractor hasn't done a lot of work for the last few weeks, so I'm trying to push on him, but I'm hoping we can get this completed by the end of the year. Future projects. I mean, I don't know if everybody's seen it, but on the website there's a long range plan. I think obviously we'd like to do something in the lower level of the clubhouse there. The member shop is doing really well with all of your support. And so we really want to make sure that we update the locker rooms. The men's and women's locker rooms are not up to par. The member shop should really be the club, and all those things. We're talking about all those things. We're talking about a 10th golf course at the pit. What do we do with the pit? And it's going to cost us quite a bit of money to build that lodge on the croquet course, and that's something that if we don't do that, we probably would not have all these good services. So we've got to figure out where to put our money, when to put our money. It's easy to say that things are going to continue to go on the upward trend right now. I hope that stays the course, because if it stays the course, then things are going to fall into place a little bit easier. But if you haven't looked at this, we're doing a lot of projects, 91st hole, the cradle crossing, and like I said, the number 9 clubhouse, we're spending a lot of money over there that, you look back at it, maybe we shouldn't have bought number 9, but just think about where we'd be if we had one less golf course. So, it's hard to go back and say what if, but, I'm really proud of what we're doing. I know everybody in this room wants to say, hey, we're building clubhouse number 6. You don't want it any more than I do. I can tell you that. I mean, it is that temporary clubhouse has been there for almost 40 years, I guess. Is that right? So, but like I said, just keep the faith. I think from our perspective, we appreciate all that you're doing as members, all your support. As you can see, I have passion for Miners Country Club and our employees, and I'll answer any questions that you got. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Question for you. Some of our properties, 19, what case? What are you going to say? We could wait. And maybe right now. Tell me, am I ever going to see it? I don't believe it.
I'd like to, so the question was, are we ever going to see a clubhouse number 6? She's on her property since 1980.
Whole line isn't anything close to what we were supposed to get when our court case started. So what are we going to approve? When are we going to move up on the list? When is number 6? It's going to stop being a stepchild to the club.
Like I said, there'd be nobody happier to stand up here and tell you that we were getting ready to do it. But I will say that I feel like we're moving in the right direction. So I'm committed to it, and I think the plan that could happen would be a good one for you as well as Miners Country Club. So anybody? I would like to. I mean, honestly, I think in the December meeting, if I don't personally feel like we're going to build a park today. And so with that being the case, we're going to have to move tennis somewhere. And we've got lots of room over there too. So
We want clubhouse, that's what we want.
I know, but that becomes, I didn't have anything to put up here tonight because I don't want to overpromise and underdeliver. But if all goes planned, that would be encompassing a clubhouse, tennis, pickleball, some other things over there. So Again, I'm really big on not over promising and delivering, but I will tell you that I'm behind it. Hey, Rod.
Hi, Ben. Thanks for coming tonight. Appreciate it. And I'd like to make a couple comments and then ask you a question. I've been coming here for 50 years. Love this place. I joined and paid my dues now for over 41 years. Happy to do it. Love this place. Committed to live here and build here. And through this whole process, of course, I started with Diamond Head. Diamond Head was a little bit of a disaster. Club Corp came. You guys have done a great job. I appreciate all the work that you've done personally and all the improvements you can now put on these greens. And ask Ernie, because Ernie did well last weekend in the 10 whistles. So it's a lot better. There are many things, and I don't want to take the time, but I could go on for another 10 minutes. All the improvements you made, you brought in the tournaments. I was here for the Tour Championship 2 years in a row. On and on and on, all the US Opens. So I'm a very happy person for all these things. But there is one big elephant in the room. And I'm headed to tea times, Ben. So the big issue is with the fact that somewhere interpreted the consent decree, I think incorrectly, excluding number 2, which was always part of it. And we've had property before 84, but I'm an old timer here too. The consent decree included courses 1 through 6. Has nothing to do with 7, 8, or 9. So part of that is we're entitled to 50% of the tee times during, those courses, not in the aggregate, which means you can't give us 90% of 3 and 10% of 2 and say, oh, gee, that's 50%. So you just asked, what can we do for the membership? Here's what we can do, and I hope you can talk Matt Massey and maybe Mr. Deadman into the allocation of the proper 50%. Now, I just went to your website today and I looked back to September 11th, last Saturday, through the 18th, and looked to see what members were entitled to play on 2 and 4. And when you do the math, it turns out to be over 8 days. We've got about 9% of the time on 2 and less on 4. Now, if you take those 2 out and the members have, and this is just a shoulder season, this shouldn't be your big financial time. And I want you to make it
April, May, September, October.
April, May, September, and October. But anyway, the agreement in the tacit agreement was if the corporation needed time when the big money guys were coming to town, you could have it as long as in the aggregate, the full year, we would have about 50% time on 2. And that's not happening, and I'm sure you have the data proof. So what can you do for the membership? Let's get us the 50% of the time in a reasonable fashion in the because last December, January, February, times weren't available. So when you take 1, 2, and 4 out of play, you're down to 4 courses. None of my 32 golfing players want to play 3, so you really have 3. So we have half of what we were promised in the deed of trust that when we came here, and under the consent decree, and I have a copy here, and I'll email anyone who wants to see it for their own inspection. If you want to stop by, and I'll take your name and email address, and we'll send it to you. But I think we can do a lot better, Ben. I think you should. I think this would be the big stepping stone. The 6 golf friends today, I asked, what is the core value of this club? Why did you come here? And the answer is to play golf, and we got to get the tee times fixed better. So my plea is, my question is, when are we are we gonna get our proper allocation on 2 and 4 and the other 4 courses?
Thanks, Roger. So we currently allocate 60% of the tee time, courses 1 through 6 for the members. So it's not here when the consent decree came out. But we have done a better job of, you know, if you look at certain days, you'll see 7:30 in the morning, 2:30 in the afternoon, morning and afternoons. I know that last year rounds that were up, and obviously we were closed, we didn't have as much resort play, so members played probably 30% more times on 4 and 2. So I know there's a reason you want to play more, those golf courses more. And then even this year, I think we're up 2,500 rounds on member rounds on number 2 and about 3,000 on number 4. So I hear you. I'll take the question back and I'll see what I can do. But as far as I know, we are abiding by the consent decree. Hey, Don. Yes, sir.
I want to address this issue, and I'm really not directing it to Ben tonight because he's not prepared. This is not why he's here, but it does have to do with the club and number 6. This last week, I went into 2 facilities, number 6 clubhouse and the pool dining facility, and a beer can in the hand. I said, where can I deposit this beer can? They said, the trash. I said, no, I'm recycling. They said, we don't recycle anything. I said, I can't believe that. And I know Pinehurst Country Club does have some recycling in some places, but I want to pursue this and talk to Ben more about it. And this is not why he's here tonight. But I hope to pursue this, and I hope you'll be aware of it. And there's no reason why Pinehurst Country Club can't be the example, like Waste Management in their huge open in Arizona, recycles everything. It takes some effort, takes some commitment, takes some cost. I'm willing to pay it. But I think for our grandkids and our great grandkids that are not living in landfills and drinking polluted water, we really need to do a great job of recycling.
But we do quite a bit of recycling. I mean, if you're required by ALE law, if you sell liquor, that you have to recycle. You have to have a recycling bin beside your trash dumpster, and we currently do that in several locations. I'm not saying we don't need to be better stewards, and that's something that we try to go strawless to across the resort. The brewery does a great job of hosting compostable items as opposed to styrofoam. We've tried more paper cups on the golf courses than styrofoam. They don't seem to work as well sometimes, but yeah, we can do a better job, and I appreciate you raising that. Yes, sir.
Ben, I can tell you firsthand, I worked at number 6 for a while on the court. We recycle. We have separate opinions. So I don't know.
I mean, I don't want to sit here and tell you that we're, like I said, we're doing great in every location. I think we do a decent job. I will tell you that if we throw trash in the recycling, we get fined for it. So by our waste industries folks. So yeah, I mean, I don't want to say, I'm just gonna be honest here. I mean, I'd like to focus on that, but I'd rather build the clubhouse at number 6 and do all the other things that we're doing. But I think there's a reason, I mean, there's other things that
I have to object to that. I'm going to have a great recycling program for our people and our kids and have a clubhouse. It's really that important, and it can be done. You just have to have a commitment to it. And I realize there's tons of other issues, but to put it down in 3rd place and let it just go, because I know there's a lot of recycling that isn't getting done, because none of the resort, yes, for members, see signs, see receptacles, see anything that encourages recycling.
I'm gonna take one more, and then Chief's ready.
Number 9 is the last course that was added.
Yes, sir.
And I'm wondering why it may not be priority to redo their clubhouse if anything was done to the 6th clubhouse.
That's right. You didn't see anything wrong with it because you didn't see all the water intrusion in there and the unsafe work conditions and the unsafe, things that were happening there. Every time it would rain, it would flood into the kitchen. And so we'd have to close the kitchen or I mean, it was really unsightly. I mean, we don't like sharing what we spent sometimes, but I mean, millions of dollars in that clubhouse because of the safety of our employees and our guests and keeping it open. And it was also a commitment when we purchased number 9 that we had to make some improvements. Technically, if we would have done our due diligence, we probably would not have bought that based on the walkthrough of the clubhouse. We probably should not have bought that property. But I'm very thankful that we did because again, we were able to create a signature membership. It's not like there's a pecking order of things that we want to do. I mean, there's 1,200 home sites, 1,400 home sites in number 6. I mean, that's an opportunity for us to gain more members if we can build a clubhouse, drive some more revenue, create a sense of home. I mean, I'm a business person. I know that I can put you the performance together and say that there's room to do it. And we're going to commit to doing it. I just don't want to say we're going to do it right now. I mean, it's going to take 14 months to create this lodge, 18 months or 14 months for the USJ building, 18 months for the lodge. So it's just a time. I mean, you can't just say, okay, we're going to start now. You know, there's a lot more to it. So I'm sorry you felt slighted all these years. I've only been here 8 years. I get it. And again, you don't have anybody to support you more than me. So I hope we can make it happen. I'd love for us to make it happen. There is room for it to be done. So.
And we just want to say thank you and sorry you're the messenger.
That's okay. Thanks, everybody.
Okay, next, our chief of police. We've had some things going on at number 6. He's very graciously volunteered to come and chat with us. And he'll be a new neighbor.
Good evening. My name is Glenn Webb. I'm your police chief. A lot of us probably haven't met because COVID really limited my public appearances for the last several months. I've been here since December of 2018. I came here as your deputy chief. I came here from Greenville, North Carolina. And then Earl Phipps abandoned me last summer. And he told me he was going to stay with me through the open so I could see how to do one of those. And then he just parachuted right on out of here. And but I was fortunate enough to be promoted to chief by the town manager and the council, and I appreciate that opportunity. It's been great. I love Greenville, but this is now my home. Soon to be in number 6, building on Raintree. And they can build a lodge in 18 months to be sure my house got done soon. Because it's not going to be as big. Yeah, it's hard to get workers right now. The reason I'm here tonight is we've had a whole rash of things going on in number 6 with some vehicle break-ins and a couple of vehicle thefts. I just want to talk to you about those, let you know the progress we're making on it, how serious we take it. Maintenance and quality of life is something that we do every day at the police department. It's not just all running and gunning, it's the little things. We believe in broken windows theory. We take care of the small things so the big things don't happen. As far as the cases from the other night, first I want to thank you guys, because there's been a lot of people that have given us Ring doorbell cameras or other camera footage that they've had. That's really helped in this investigation. We've got some good leads already. We formed in response to this a multi-agency task force because we were not the only people that got hit. It streams from here to Hood County and then to Fayetteville. We believe the suspects are centered in Hood County. I got notification today. They had about 5 or 6 cars stolen out of Hood County last night. So they're not showing any signs of slowing down. And so Lieutenant Gatlin is our detective lieutenant. He's in charge of this task force. He briefs me every day on it, and we're making incremental progress. The problem with property crimes is they're harder to solve, but we have a clearance rate of over 90%. So we solve almost all the crimes that occur here in Pinehurst. We partner with Southern Pines, Aberdeen, Moore County Sheriff's Office. Fayetteville Police Department is actually loaning us their crime analyst to help us with some mapping and some predictive policing for that to see where we think this is going to happen next. We're loaning our expertise. Lieutenant Gatlin's also an FBI TFO, so we have some federal resources to help us in this. So we're putting everything we've got behind it because we do take this very seriously. I'm gonna be living over there, so I take it very seriously as well. Some things you can do to help, whenever you have any kind of suspicious activity on your camera, let us know about it. Because there may be something that happened in a neighborhood nearby that can help us solve that. Locking your doors. We didn't have one broken window. Every vehicle, as a matter of fact, in the almost 3 years I've been here, we've had one broken window. And that was at the hospital. Everything's been unlocked. The stolen vehicles had keys in them. So we do those little things now. You know, sometimes we jokingly call this, when something happens, we always ask at the PD, some inside language, we say, was it in the bubble, meaning was it in because we view this as our bubble. However, that bubble is somewhat of a false sense of security because we do have a very safe community, but sometimes we let our guards down and that makes us a little vulnerable. They're not going to want to break windows. It makes too much noise. It's too loud. This is a very diligent population here. They call us, you call us when you see something out of line, and we appreciate that. And you know, some people have told us they didn't call us because they didn't want to put us out. We work for y'all. We pay a lot of money to keep us going, so we want you to get every bang for your buck out of that. And this is what we want to do. This is what we signed up for. And even if it's nothing, there's always that chance that it's not. So we want to be able to respond to those things and get that done. So that's just a broad overview of how we're attacking this. There were some in Village Acres as well. I will say number 6 and Village Acres are uniquely positioned because if you're not from here like I am, and you've ever tried to drive around here, if you get on this side of 211, you can just drive around for days and never know where you are. One time I thought I was going to the lake, and I think I ended up in Montgomery County. Because I said, I'm not going to use my GPS, I'm going to learn these streets. I said, I'm going to the lake. And the next road I saw was Chicken Plant Road, but I was on the other side. I could do it out there, but that was early on. I've gotten a lot better now. The only thing I really have learned is that there's no straight points between two things. And no matter which way you turn, eventually you end up back to the result. But so I will field any questions. I cannot point a gun at Ben and make him go to clubhouse. But if you have one question. Yes, sir.
As number 6 becomes more popular, we will be out of buildable lots supposedly by the end of the year. More people are still number 1 problem is speed on Juniper Creek.
So when you have those issues, so this is something we play whack-a-mole with all over town. Monticello, Juniper Creek, Forest, the other roads inside Village Acres, 211 Motor Speedway. So we try to put those speed signs out when they're requested, just kind of slow people down. We do targeted enforcement out there on occasion. But if you do it every day, eventually it becomes white noise. So we try to up our patrols and log those in. And they're doing a lot of patrol of Juniper Creek. And sometimes, especially with the hills, it looks faster than it is. We've done a few speed surveys out there. There's speeding issues, don't get me wrong. It's not as bad as it seems sometimes because just standing still and looking at something on 35 miles an hour that's 2,000 pounds, it looks faster than it is. But at the same time, we have to take enforcement action out there. Midland Motor Speedway is also an issue, and we're working on that as well. But we'll continue to maintain that, and because what I don't want to do, I'd rather us handle it, because especially soon to be resident, I don't want traffic calming devices on the road and trying to have them bump my way home every day. Yes, sir.
Organized gangs in the area, fact or fiction?
A little bit of both. So as far as validated gang members in Pinehurst proper, 0. Just outside of Pinehurst, there's a very small amount of it in Taylortown, and it's in kind of the larva stage. There's a few that think they are, but they're really not. Up more towards Carthage, you have a few. Sanford is really, and Fayetteville is where they're going to come from. But we're certainly not seeing it in town. you know, I tell all my officers, everything you do, I want you to do it legally, morally, and ethically. And then the two sides of this coin is we want, you all to be able to freely enjoy this beautiful community, but we don't want one breath of oxygen for criminals. So, you know, I tell them all the time, when we're stopping cars, I want hands in pockets, hands under seats, you know, give consent, doing things legally, morally, and ethically, but we get a lot of drugs and a lot of guns. I want to say we've made 30 to 50, I don't know the exact number, I just did some stats, so fiscal year versus calendar year, they blend together sometimes. But we're getting a lot of guns off the street because we have very active officers. We have worked on becoming a very proactive police force, because even though they may not live here and they're just traveling through, they have satellites that follow them around. And we don't want any of those satellites crashing here. We want to keep them moving on back to Robinson County, on back to Montgomery County, on back to wherever they came from. And so we did a search warrant recently. And I think one of the best compliments in there was we made a drug bust, and when we did the phone dump, there were text messages from higher level drug dealers that said, we're not moving in over there because the police force is too active. And I took that as a big credit to our people and the reputation they have all over the place for being out there, blue lights on, and fighting crime daily. And I tell them, that's all been, we've got a really good group that really wants to be crime fighters, not just report takers. So they took it very personally with these break-ins that happened, and they really shut it down the next night. I think I had something like 50 traffic stops, and you know, there's not a lot of traffic in Honduras after about 9:30, 10 o'clock. So they had wheels on it, and they were asking why they could be.
When we moved here about 4.5 years ago, your predecessor came and presented at this group, and I asked the question after it was all over. And we came from California about 4.5 years ago. We had an alarm system in our house. I said, why do you want here? He says, I don't have one. So I guess that means I don't need one. Do you feel the same way?
I think an ounce of prevention is worth a lot, especially here. I'm going to have one. On my
question.
Yeah.
Am I legal driving? If I, after golf, decide to have dinner at the club and drive back, I don't have to go. Am I legal to have lights on?
As long as you stay on roads that are 35 or less in the village, and you have all the proper registration stuff done. I can't quote the golf ball rules, but yes, I do know you just need your lights on in front and back for that. And I think just as far as alarm systems go, now, granted, I'm a law enforcement family. My wife's with the U.S. Attorney's Office, so she does OCDEP cases, which are really large federal drug cases. So she's had a lot of threats against her from gang members and things. So that's just an extra layer for us as well. So hopefully I'm not bringing any of that to the neighborhood for you. So, if you hear anything on Rain Tree, grab whatever you got out of your closet and come help. Yes, ma'am. No, I'm glad you said that because I had it written down so I would remember not to forget, and I didn't remember not to forget. Something I'm putting in our budget for next year.
Please repeat the question.
Oh, well, the question was, are there any cameras on the entrances? Something I'm putting in our budget for next fiscal year is to get what we call pole cams, things that some cameras we can put on the entrances, or even a license plate readers. Thinking about those as well. So there's two schools of thought on that. The cameras are a little easier lift because people are used to cameras. We can get them, they're cellular, they'll mount and power right off the power line, and you can see what's coming and going. The tag readers are very helpful. However, and I'm kind of this way, for a civil libertarian, I kind of don't want the government just constantly collecting my whereabouts either. And how you use that information is, you know, I mean, we would be using for, why were this car that doesn't live here, there at 2 a.m. when we had break-ins. However, I get the privacy concerns as well. So we would probably lean more toward the cameras. It's, I think it's an easier lift. They're more readily available. There's a lot of different types that we can start looking at. So that's something we're definitely looking at. If y'all wanted to put up cameras, I believe you can. But, you know, that's an expense that it's a reoccurring cost. Good question. We've had no residential break-ins. It's been all, basically, so their MO is this, they just try to get whatever they can find. If they score something big and get your MacBook or a gun out of the car, that's great. Usually they just run this car, they take change, any minor thing of value, but if you leave something of more value, they definitely go after that. Haven't seen them go into trunks a lot. It's just been coming up, pulling on doors. We've gotten a lot of video footage from residents where they didn't get broken into, but there was an attempt. So they're just pulling on doors to see what they can get. So like I said earlier, just that little thing of remembering to close your or lock your door and close your garages. I told the manager not too long ago, there was a button I could push that sent out a beam at 10:30 at night, closed every garage, locked every door. At all. But I'm guilty of it because it's the human way, right? We forget things, and it's not like you're walking into your house around here and you hear a multitude of gunshots go. That's right in the bad neighborhood, and people lock the door. It's very peaceful, but it's also very dark. We like our dark skies here. The stars are beautiful, but lights are deterrent, and we don't have a lot. Yes, ma'am.
I got a funny thing. My husband was in law enforcement, and I needed my keys in the car. One day he followed me, and I went into a business, and I came out, my car was gone. He thought me it was.
If I did that, my house key wouldn't work anymore. Does anyone else have? Yes, sir.
Are you doing anything in schools? I remember the DARE program. Is there any involvement from your colleagues?
Sure. So here, Moore County has its own police force, so we don't actually have any school resource officers attached to our department that work at the school. But we also don't have a full-time SRO. So I would love for the county to give us the grant to cover police officer salary to hire one to put in the school full-time, because that school's massive. We did a walkthrough of it recently, and there's a lot of, lack of better term, tactical considerations we have if there were an incident there. It's very good, it's very locked down, it's very safe, but you know, everything isn't all the time. And so just considering covering all that ground, the main reason we went there was to make sure our radios weren't inside, because digital signals, which everyone's gone to, are a little weaker than the analog. They don't have as much built penetration, ours work fine. So we're glad to report that. But just the challenge of being a small department and dealing with that size of a building with multiple levels, multiple areas of egress and regress and entry and exit. And then if there's some horseshoe hallway, so if you pop out the door and there's no one there to let you back in, you gotta run all the way back around and keep stuff off that front door. So we're getting schematics from the schools and all that from the safety aspect of it. But our volunteers are out there working traffic in the morning. We have officers that work traffic. We do walkthroughs on occasion. The principal has my phone number right here for her regularly. And so we're taking that with what we can. Is mainly budgetary issue. I'd like to see them provide us with somebody that we could deliver with. Yes, ma'am.
Recently on Nextdoor app, there was a lady who reported her daughter being watched by someone in a van. And he stopped and talked to her, or smiled at her and asked her, a question. And has any more of that happened? Are you patrolling in the morning when the buses come by?
They do. They're out there early morning. We're out there 24 hours a day. I haven't heard of that. Oh, I'm sorry. The question was, there was reported on the Nextdoor app that someone in the van was smiling and trying to talk to a young girl. And that hasn't been brought to my attention. So did they call the police?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I'll check and see if there's been any more follow-up on that, because that didn't make it up to me for something. I would say that when it comes, because we got a lot of young children in the area, we do have one of our detectives is on the Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force, as we know. children are much more likely to be enticed and contacted online. And he's been on that task force for about 3 months, and he's already made 2 pretty big arrests on that for people trying to either solicit children or trafficking in child pornography. We're doing another search warrant this week. Of course, can't give any details more than that, but we take protection of kids very seriously, and that's something I used to do that as well. So it's kind of near and dear to my heart from another law enforcement life. But we do have those assets working, and we're in close partnership with SBI. As a matter of fact, we host an SBI agent that works out of an office.
I think it's still on there if you want to look at it.
Yeah, I will check that out because we want to. Any other questions?
Thank you, Chief. This was wonderful.
Yeah.
One more, I'm sorry, sorry.
Okay, thank you to you, all the officers, throughout the fire department. My personal uniform people keep us very safe and comfort anytime.
Some of my cards up here, so if you have a follow-up question or something pops to your head later, you'll have my email address, phone number, if you need to call or send an email, and I'll get back to you usually within a day.
Are there any other comments? I know a couple of people approached me earlier. Have it been answered? Yes, ma'am. Hang on, everybody.
Yes, my name is Kathy Knight, and my husband and I live number 6. We've been here 9 years, and we're very happy. One of our house is either the first or second built in number 6. And we live at 11 Chatham Lane. And Chatham Lane is just a little cul-de-sac right off the lane. What I want to say tonight is, as happy as we are, I'm very, very disappointed with the town of Pinehurst because of the permits that they are issuing. And I invite you all to come down Lakita and look at number 5. Lakita 2. I have 24 pictures of a disaster. It's a swamp. And I know you wouldn't want those on the website. So I'm just pointing this out because it's a real disgrace. They're building on the swamp. And there's 5 feet of mud. Now they put a fence out, which we requested because there's a lot of small kids there. So you can't see it as well, which is good. And the other thing are the mosquitoes. They're awful. They're horrible. So I'm just complaining to the city about who gave that permit or who the plan for that allowed it. The contractor, which he's from San. Whoever told him to build on that. Not to.
Any other comments, questions for tonight? If not, enjoy the refreshments. Do we have another question? Comment? Oh, yeah.
Could you tell me why we don't have a gate, like number 7, they close it 8 or 9 o'clock at night or something? I mean, that would help deter people from coming into our neighborhood that shouldn't be there.
Originally, number 6 was supposed to be a gated community. I'm not sure why that was decided not to happen.
I can tell you why.
Okay, hey Becky, go ahead.
Close the gate, you pay for your road.
Right.
There you go. So, that would change the whole, question. Have a nice evening, everybody. Thank you for coming. I hope you enjoy our session.